Greetings, everyone. Today we're going to talk about preparation for spiritual work and to remind individuals that when we're getting ready to do work, especially when you're looking for breakthroughs, you have to be very cautious about how you go about doing it and how you prepare yourself to get into that attitude where you're not just making requests, but in an attitude of thanksgiving, your approach is right. And so you have to clean your environment. You have to also clean yourself. You have to prepare yourself for this work. And as you are, preparing the environment, understand that you might invite spirits that you don't want to operate on your behalf. And so you have to make sure that the atmosphere is right. So today we're going to just talk about some of the tools that we use. For example, I am here burning some peppermint, and all I'm doing is putting the tea light in this. Those of you who know this, put the tea light in there, put your water on top, and then you're going to add whatever incense you want to use. In my case, I'm using peppermint for a particular reason. And I'm also going to be using cedar wood, the cedar wood incense, the liquid to be put in this burner. And then over here, what we have here is this burner as well. But in this one, I am using charcoal. On the top here, here's a charcoal. And what I would do is light this charcoal and add my incense. But I'm using a powdered incense in this one. And I'm not going to really say what or which incense because we have different incense. We have the stick incense, but when you're doing certain kinds of spiritual work, you need different kinds of incense. Sometimes you need it in the liquid form. Sometimes you need it in the powdered form. And in today session, I'm using the powdered form. And over here, we have all these different candles. And what I'm going to do is explain to you the uses of all these candles, how to go about using these candles. And in my class, I teach how to prepare the candles, how to burn which candles, what time is best to do this candle work, how to read the candle flame, how to read the wax after it's burned. That way you can tell if you have to go back and redo your candle work, because sometimes by the end of the day, depending on if you're doing a 1 day candle ritual, you can tell if you have to repeat the process. There are times when you have candles, for example, candles that are in these jars that could take up to a week to burn. And so regardless of what you're asking for or what you're working towards, as long as you understand that these candles, before you can use them, you have to prepare them. They have to be prepared a particular way with herbs, with spice and things like that. Now let's get into talking about some of these candles, and I'm using these small ones. And of course, depending on what you're working with, you might have to use the 7 day jar. You might have to do candles. You might have to put two color, for example, this green one and this white one. Or if you're working on a candle that is going to burn for a longer period of time, again, it depends on what you're working towards, what you're hoping to achieve, what you're trying to break, and things like that. You're trying to break. There are some things that are on some people. It's going to take more than a 1 day situation to break that. Okay, so now when we're talking about candles and we are looking at all these different color candles, let's start with nature. Okay, I'm going to explain to you that the different color candles have different uses. And as we can see in nature, there's all different colors in flowers, in the sky, and people and or animals. So this is very significant. Everything starts with nature. And so I will go through these colors to show you how they work spiritually. So, for example, let's look at the white. And I'm not telling you what this white will do based on that stereotypical idea of what white is. I'm trying to keep you away from that, because the whole idea of white being pure and all that stuff, that's not what we're working with. We're working with the actuality of what the color itself symbolizes. So, for example, if you're wanting to create an environment with more calmness, more peaceful, white is one of those colors that you would burn. Okay, white is a base for all the other colors. So the white candle itself, not the white in general of the as a word, but the white candle is the base. So you add color to the white and it changes to other colors. And so if you're looking for that environment where you're trying to cleanse the space, you're doing some kind of ritual, where you're just, trying to make sure you get rid of the negative energy in your space, what burning a white candle is perfect for that. For every other thing you could be working on spiritually, a white candle being present is going to be effective. Now, let's focus. So we're looking at yellow next, and the yellow symbolizes the sun, or color of illumination. And so when you're doing something in terms of communication, when you need to communicate a certain intention, yellow is the perfect color to burn. So for example, if you have legal work in the court, if you need to address a situation of legal matter, then yellow is the perfect color candle to burn. Then orange, which is the color of success, it brings together red and yellow. And with red and yellow candle combination, you're going to be able to feel or see a certain response. And if you have a particular emotion about, wanting something to happen or to come true, then the color orange is the perfect one to burn during your manifestation. Gold, and I don't have gold right here, but I'm going to still tell you about it. Gold is a fusion of orange and yellow. And so when you're looking for success or abundance, position, or money, this is a perfect candle to use. The use of gold and green candles, for example, is very good at drawing abundance, opening roads, open pathways, getting things started. So gold, and so for example, yellow and the orange, if you don't have a gold candle, you can use both an orange and a yellow candle to bring about the kind of success opening this pathway. Green, sorry, blue. The next one is going to be blue. And again, it doesn't have to be these small candles. It could be this big candle. These, and then these take a longer time to burn. So the bigger the candle, the more likelihood that when you're finished with your prayer and your fasting and all of that, the possibility of you starting to see what you're praying for at the very end. So if it takes 3 days or 4 days, or if you have a 7-day candle, by the end of the 7 day, you should start seeing results. Okay. So blue is great. It's a great color for peace, for matrimony, for love, for that environment in your home to be one of, love between your husband and yourself. And again, I have to say this because people are interested in doing these things to make people love them. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about where love already exists. And in order to keep it to abide in that environment where your love can grow, burning the blue candle, and it's an agreement between you and your partner or the person that you are with, that when you're doing this is not something you're burning and hiding somewhere because you're afraid. Both you and your partner have to be in that same place, emotionally and spiritually, and you're doing it together as a kind of ritual where you're burning the blue and you're inviting more love in your union. Now, blue also appeals to those who are into the Orisha tradition with Obatala. It's that color that you would put on your altar. Yellow, for example, now yellow for Oshun, blue for Yemaya, which is the ocean deep, the mother of the ocean. Red, when you're burning that, if you're into the Orisha tradition, then, and Shango is that spiritual guide, then you're going to be burning that red. Or Elegba, red is a color of passion, the color of love and sexuality. You're looking for breakthrough, action oriented kinds of breakthrough. You're pushing a particular action forward. Red is that candle that you would burn. Then let's look at pink. Pink is red and white put together. So if you don't have a pink candle, you can burn a red and a pink candle together. And the pink, sort of represents sweetness, friendship, color of attraction, bringing things to you. So it is also a color that people use in their money rituals, money drawing, of course, with a drawing solution. So you don't just burn this pink candle and all these magical things happen. There's also other things you're going to put with it. And I don't have a gray candle here right now, but I'm going to still give you the meaning of the gray. So gray is black and white combined, and this is used to unblock, making breakthroughs, removing curse. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about how I was cursed by family members, how they did things that took me more than 16 years to break. For one, I didn't know how to go about this. I just knew something was wrong. But over time, Spirit came to teach me, to show me what was happening. And then we're looking at the purple. Purple represents royalty. And those of you into the Orisha tradition again, Oya, our ancestors, when you're appealing to the Oya or ancestors, then the purple is a color that you would use. As I said, it represents royalty, position, power, status, or victory. And again, if you're trying to seek breakthrough, if you know that you've got somebody have X your life, or have done something to destroy you, that is one of those colors that you would burn. Now, black, because they teach us to hate ourselves as African people, they're going to put all the negative things attached to black, burning black candles. So if someone sees you with a black candle, right away they go off in tandem about some demonic dark thing. I must say, however, even though it's the biggest lies, the things they try to tell us about black, but there are people who would use black candles for Xing. And, but it's the same candle you're going to use to break this X, to remove the stagnation or the negative things that have been done in your life. And some of these negative things come from our generations way back. And it comes from sometimes things that you are involved with doing. And so, again, I'm going to say with red and black, these are reversal candles. When you want to aggressively break spells, you mix these, the vibration of these two candles being mixed is very powerful. So we're talking about the black and the red candle together. Very, very powerful. Now, there is a difference with the candles that are in the jar and the candles that are, like this one, and again, in another session or perhaps in a class, I could tell you what the difference is with these ones, and how to use them, when to use them. And over here, I just have my tea light burning, based on my own needs and so on and so forth. In the next video, I'm going to come back and I'm going to just share real stories about how I was able to use incense, how I was able to use candles to break free from a very terrible curse that was put on my life. And recently, my vision where I was on the bridge and the bridge teared down with me and I was plummeting over the Ryakobu River, and that golden stool came up and sort of rescued me. That was very, very, very symbolic. After I had that dream and the passing away of my father, I realized that the curse was broken. Now it's been breaking gradually, but now that old house has tumbled down, and I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks to the Most High. Um, I'm in good spirits at the moment. The wave comes and goes, because you know what it's like when you're dealing with, life and death situations. But, so much more is coming out of, that dark cloud that was looming over me. And I'm feeling free, and I'm feeling so blessed. So if there's anyone here watching this video and feeling like, how can I get out of this rut? How can I escape what I know is this terrible dark cloud that is over me? They have not taught us. They refuse to teach us the truth about who we are and the power we carry. They have isolated us from our ancestors and told us it's a bad thing to even look to our ancestors, look to our spirit guides for answers. But in the very religion that they gave to our people, there's a saying that if you see the Father, you see me. I and the Father are one. So in the story, the fictitious story about this God, like being, when he said that he was God, and the Pharisees and the Sadducees attacked him for saying that, and he proved to them that, listen, if you see me, I am my Father reincarnate. No, he didn't say reincarnate, but I'm saying when we give birth to children, we give birth to ourselves. And though we have a creator, and when I say more than, we have energies, we have, deities, spiritual destinies, and guidance that cannot be explained in just one book. It's just way too vast. When we talk about the universe, the vastness, the truth, real truth coming from nature. All things in nature, all our answers lie in nature. I'm going to pause this for now, and then I'm going to come back with my story time. Stay blessed, everyone. Greetings, everyone. So I'm going to close off the video with this little clip. And I know some of you are going to ask, what is the significance of the color and stuff that I'm wearing? It's for spiritual warfare. I can say that much. Okay? And I want you to know that when it comes to discernment, your third eye have to be activated. So not just prayer and fast and meditation, but certain things that you do in preparing your mind. There's certain herbs and certain spices that will open up or elevate you to that point where you see things what the average or the ordinary eye cannot see. It's opened, and so there are herbs that you use, there's spice, there are plants, even some plants that have this psychedelic kind of effect, when used, will take you to another realm. The stuff is deep, and I truly believe that some people are naturally gifted with the spirit of discernment, for example. And some people will read things in a book and learn some things and practice, but many are called and few are chosen. And there are individuals who are naturally gifted, But because of greed, they sometimes lose that gift. And so what I'm actually doing is activating the third eye because I needed to examine some things in the spirit realms. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go too much in that just because you're going to ask. And for those who these kind of things affect your sensibility, you know, you can always click off a video. I don't know why people do that to themselves. Click off. Read and come again. All right? Now, as I was saying earlier, and I would have shared some of that story with you about how I was bounded for over 20 years and not by strangers, by relatives, bounded. It started with someone going in my bathtub and killing an animal, a bird, and using the feather to polish my bathtub with blood. They sprinkled powder in front of my doorway with the intention and the aim to take my life and destroy my fetus that I was carrying. Yes, yes, sir, yes, indeed. And I cannot tell you how my life turned upside down. Anything that was bad that could have happened to me. And though I had a career and I had mad ability, roadblocks after roadblocks after roadblocks. And when I gave birth to my child, I could have lost my life and the life of my young child. You people can live in a little fairy tale world and pretend like you don't know that certain things are happening in the world and people have the power to do certain things to you. And if you don't recognize it, they win. So it was a woman that just looked at me one day, a woman with spiritual discernment, someone who didn't know me, just in passing, just said to me, "Don't you see what's happening to you? That baby in your belly, someone want to destroy that." And the person said, "You're not out of the woods." So when the person said that, this random stranger said this to me on the road, I said to her, "What do you mean?" And then I started asking her questions because I know, based on some of the things that she was saying, that someone had actually come in my house and had used feather, dip it into blood, and wipe it on my bathtub. And I found it and I was trying to wash it out. And, you know, my partner then took me out and said, "No, no, no, don't touch this," after the fact. So when she said that someone wanted to destroy the fruit of my womb and want to destroy me, it started to make sense. But slowly, as I prayed and I fasted, and the Spirit came and showed me my enemies, I made a pledge and a promise that if I followed their instructions, that I'd be free. And there was a last part that was left for me to do. And over the last year and a half, I followed their instruction, and it was not easy to do what I was asked to do, to show love, to show kindness, to show forgiveness. It was my test. But because of my heart, I already possess that spirit of forgiveness. It might take me a longer time. I might be the person who would be misjudged because when I'm angry, I will say anything. But there's a part of me that will put away anything if people have a particular need. And so I was tested over the years And even before I knew it was a test, there are times things are going on with you and you're being tested, and some of you are failing these tests because of unforgiveness. Some of you are failing these tests because you have hardened your heart. Some of you have failed the test because you're negative. There's so many people, breakthrough is waiting to come for you, but you are too negative. You're negative. You have to let that go. And sometimes it's not that easy, because whatever is up on you causes you to be in that state of mind where you can't see past what is in front of you. And so you stay in that place. And in those cases, you have to break certain shackles that are on your mind and on your hands and on your feet. So these ones wanted to destroy me. These ones somehow, because listen, when you have purpose, people are going to see it sometimes before you do. When people see your life is purpose filled, they're going to try to cancel you. The devil that lives in them, because we often blame this devil outside of ourselves, and oftentimes that devil reside within you, pretty much like the God reside in you. And sometimes people recognize your power before you do. People were recognizing my power long before I acknowledged it or even understood it. Random stranger, old men, children would come and say things to me long before I understood it. And in my career, people would say, everything I'm doing that's glowing, that is so beautiful. And yet I was not seeing, any real results financially. People took my money and used it against me. Be careful who you're giving your money to. Be careful who you're accepting money from. Because some of these ones are dirty, not just in their heart or their mind, but in the things that they're doing. So I was a slave. I was someone's spiritual slave because I was in a bondage that took me many years to break, until I started getting very serious with my spirituality. Until I finally understood that I had purpose. And, the spirits are not going to come and force you to walk your path. Even though it may seem like that's your destiny, you have to have an interest in doing what you are sent here to do. And so I spent the last 2 weeks grieving for so many reasons, more than just a death of someone, because I understand that when someone passes from this place and transcend, this person becomes your ancestor and greater than they could be in the physical realm. But I was going through an epiphany. I was going through at least 20 years of getting to today. No one said that life was going to be easy. And no one said the journey to self-discovery is going to be an easy task. It's up to you to say, I need to know why I was brought into this world and what is my purpose. And once you go after finding out that, you will live a purposeful life. You will enjoy blessings. You'll be able to, get breakthroughs. You will understand things in the spiritual realm. You'll be more thankful. You'll be more careful. and you will know how to appreciate all the blessings in your life. So, over the years, after I started seeing these horrible things happen to me in my life, until I finally realized, with the help of some divine helpers who were sent my way to point out certain things that I didn't notice, and who were sent, whether it be in the spirit realms or in the physical realms, to guide me into getting these breakthroughs. There's still more work to be done. And now I help other people to recognize some of the signs. Sometimes they're so blatant, but you don't see it. You know, you're drinking alcohol. What do you think that is? You're gambling. You're smoking. You're moving from one relationship to the next and it's not working out. Your body's fine, but they say you can't conceive. You're in a relationship and everything is going good and the man disappears. All of a sudden he can't be with you anymore. Bondages that needs to be broken. People messing in your life or with your life. And sometimes it's your fault too. Sometimes you get involved in relationship with people, husband or wife, and they put an X on your life. They put a jinx on your life. Sometimes people do things to you because they're jealous of you and they dislike you. But there are times you have done things to other persons and their tears fall on you. But nothing is permanent unless you give up. So I'm going to end here right now, and I'm going to say to you all, rise up, open your eyes and your mind, and ask for a breakthrough. But more than anything else, ask that you be elevated above all things that hold you or prevent you from your destiny or your purpose. Stay blessed, everyone.